Hey friends, this is Mrs. Wolfie from our Half Acre Homestead, and I'm making bone broth for canning. These are the bones we got with our side of beef. And this is my big roasting pan, so that's not too bad. I'm just going to throw some salt on these and put them into a 400-degree oven for about an hour, just long enough to get things popping and moving. And then we'll pressure cook them. Okay, so here are the roasted bones. And I roasted them at 400 for about 40 minutes. Just enough to get everything kind of going. And I've scrubbed out my big pressure canner, and I've put in a bay leaf, a teaspoon of peppercorns, and I'm going to say a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of coarse pickling salt. Now I'm going to put these inside in here, and we'll be back. I've got about 2.5 to 3 gallons of water in there. So I've added a shot of vinegar and an onion. A small shot of vinegar will actually help pull the minerals out of the bones for a more nutritious broth. So when this starts to spout a steady stream of steam, I will vent the canner for 10 minutes. Then I will put on a 10-pound weight and pressure cook this at 10 pounds pressure for 90 minutes. Okay, our canner has been venting a steady stream of steam for 10 minutes. And the bobble is up, so we're going to put our 10-pound weight on. And as soon as this gives me a vigorous jiggle, I will set the timer for 90 minutes. Don't you dare. So this has been cooking for 90 minutes, and I'm going to shut it off. And we're going to let it cool naturally, and then tomorrow we're going to separate the bones from the broth, and we're going to do our thing. Okay, my bone broth has been allowed to sit overnight, and the canner is still even warm. So let's take the lid off and find out what's going on. At that. Look at that. Now, I have decided that I'm going to dump these back in because there's still a lot of good stuff left, and I'm going to cook this some more. Let's put it on this small burner, and I'm going to put a lid on this, and I'm going to cook this some more. We'll put this on medium and let it bubble away. It's only 11 in the morning. We'll let this bubble away till about 4 o'clock. If I have to wait to can it tonight, that's fine. Okay, it's strained. And this is going in the refrigerator until tomorrow. Till it cools enough that I can skim some of the fat off. Depending on how much fat, we will leave some in the broth because it's good for you. It's good fat. So here is our cold bone broth, and this has a plate of fat on the top. But look. Look at this. It's jelly, guys. It's absolute jelly. This is the wonderful stuff of bone broth. So I'm going to leave the fat in there. So I'm going to leave the fat in this because it's just as much just as important. But look how, you know how good this is for your joints and your bones and your brain. All this is really good stuff. Let's get this heating up, and we'll be back in a bit to can it. Since we're canning today, I'm going to take this opportunity to try out my new ForJars canning lids and bands that were so kindly sent to me by ForJars. So, because you know what? I'm really glad to see that they're selling bands too, because bands get old, right? Bands get old. Nice. And they feel really solid too. 3, 4. Now, this is how I'm going to wash them. 1, 2. Then I'm going to put the wide mouth ones on top, like this. A drop of Dawn, and then I'm going to run some hot water into this. Leave them in the pot just like that. And then I rinse and rinse and rinse until the water runs clean. And then I just leave them. Okay, here's our canner, washed and rinsed with the recommended amount of water in the bottom, plus a shot of vinegar to stop my jars from clouding. Here's our broth. It's just about heated up enough to be mixable. We have several jars now. Like I said, I'm using this as an opportunity to try my new lids and bands from ForJars, but I'm mostly going to be canning in pints. Why? Because that is a good soup starter, but also it's just the right amount to make gravy, isn't it? 8 pint jars, washed and ready to go. Alrighty. Our fat is now melted and our canner is coming up to temperature. Alrighty. So we've got our 2-cup measure because a pint is 2 cups. We have our vinegar-soaked clean piece of paper towel, our lids, our jars, and our canning water, or our broth is nice and hot. All the way to 1 inch to a ½ inch from the top. There is no debubbling, folks. Why? Because it's liquid. I'm going to put a little bit more in there. And then we always, always, always wipe your rim with a clean damp paper towel. And there's our lid and our band. And into the canner that goes. Okay, so I have 12 pints of bone broth in my canner, and I'm going to put the lid on and we'll be right back. Now, I had 3/4 of a quart, or just under a quart left, and I decided I'm going to put that in the fridge for a recipe later on this week, probably soup. So, yes, my burner is smoking. I have to clean underneath them and put fresh foil down. So the canner lid is on, and we're going to bring it up to temperature, and when this is spouting a steady stream of steam, then we will vent the canner for a full 10 minutes. Do not skip this step. Venting the canner means you're pushing the air out so that when the weight goes on, it creates the vacuum that you need for the high pressure seal. So please, don't skip any steps. All right, our timer has gone off. Our canner has been venting this beautiful steady stream of steam for the last 10 minutes. We're gonna put our 10-pound weight on there. And as soon as that produces a vigorous jiggle, I'm gonna set my timer for 20 minutes. It's 20 minutes for pints, 25 minutes for quarts. Now what else was I gonna tell you? And there's our first vigorous jiggle. Now I'm going to turn the canner down to just between medium and maximum. And we're going to set our timer for 20 minutes. Okay, so our timer has gone off. So I've shut off the canner, and we're going to let this cool naturally. Do not wiggle the weight. Do not immerse this in cold water. Do not wrap it in cold, wet towels. And for God's sakes, do not try and take the lid off it while it is hot. You want to be able to put your hand on the side of it comfortably before you try and open your lid. Okay. Our canner, I can put my flax of my hands on it. The bobble is down. Now always, even if it's hot, like it's still quite hot to the touch, but it's safe, always open it away from you so you don't get a snoot full of steam. And there it is, 12 pints of nutrient-rich bone broth. This is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying, never let anything go to waste, especially when it's nutrient-rich marrow bones. Yum. Take care, God bless. And remember, folks, if you're not using ForJars canning lids, you're missing out. Heavier than any other single-use lids on the market, they are a U.S. company, and these lids are of superior quality. The only lids I will use. Check the description box below this video for the link, and use the coupon code HALFACRE for 10% off. Orders over $50, ship free within the USA. Check them out on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. They make the perfect gift for the home canner in your life. ForJars lids. You can't go wrong.